Alright, so welcome to the day 1 session, and let's discuss that what are the topics that we are going to cover in the Selenium training. So this is actually my third online batch, and the total duration, as it is mentioned here, it is going to be approximately 2 months, but it might get extended, more than 2 months also. So be ready for that. I will try to cover as much as I can in a 2 months, but still I may need more time as well. So prepare your mind, or plan accordingly. And the time is going to be 9 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. every day. This session is going to be on weekday. It will be online session, not a classroom session. And the tentative day is, I wrote last week of December, but actually we are starting it from today, that is 2nd Jan. And the fees is just 2,000 rupees. All right. So let's start with the course content. There are different modules, in this course content. The first module is the prerequisite sessions, that we will cover the setup part, Java part. Okay, we will discuss some Java interview questions with the Java object-oriented programming. Oh, looks like many people are not able to hear. Guys, this is related with your audio settings. If you are not able to hear, let me type this, sorry. Okay, so I just replied to the message, and I can see few of the folks are not able to hear my voice. So if anyone can, please send a snapshot. It will be great help on our WhatsApp group. Just take a snapshot of the settings which they need to do, and share it on a WhatsApp. So it will be helpful. Because as a host, I get a different options, so I can't really share that snapshot. Is there anything like test call so that they will? No, I'm not sure, because I'm not again used to with this. I have used a GoToMeeting so far, a paid account, but I feel this is nice, better and free over a GoToMeeting. So I started using free conference call. But yeah, thanks for suggestion, Prashant. But if you guys can please share a snapshot on the WhatsApp group, it will be really great. Okay. Today's topic is we have to set up a JDK. I know that few people already knew Java, few people are already knew Selenium. There are few people who are learning Java for the first time. So I will be keeping this session as much easy as I can. I won't be going it into very complex or difficult levels. I wanted to keep it simpler, so everybody should be able to understand with programming or without. It doesn't matter you really have a experience in the programming language or not, or even though if you're learning Java for the first time, still I'm hoping that this session is going to help you. Guys, if you have any questions, you can stop me anytime and ask the questions into the message window. Also, I will give a separate time for questions and answers session. So the very first step is I'm going to, okay, let's quickly go through the course content. That is the module 1 is prerequisite and Java. Also setting up the different tools. For example, TestNG, Git, these are the few tools that we need to set up. The second module is the most important module. This is what is WebDriver. Okay, we will be learning this few topics. not limited to this. We can also include some extra topic if you want. And there is a third module which is related with the advanced tools and the framework topic. It is not only related with the WebDriver. So this is like more related to the actual implementation into the project, the different tool integration that we do, this kind of stuff. So the advanced test engine we will be learning, then report engine, report integration with the framework. Advanced Maven we will learn on the command line execution, Surefire plugin, then assembler plugin, and etc. Then we will be also learning Git. Maybe we will go with the GitHub, or we can use GitLab, anything of that. Both are open source. And the last part is automation frameworks. I think we should have a separate module for that, but okay. So we will be learning the automation framework as well. So in this session, day by day, we will be creating a session. We will be creating a framework step by step, every day. And we'll learn few of the concepts from the framework design, like page object model with a page factory annotations, with a standard and non-standard page object model, singleton pattern, and as well as last session is going to be a BDD, that is behavioral driven testing framework. Okay, fine. So let's get started with the prerequisite module. I will just guide you through how to set up the JDK. Okay. So the very first thing is you need to download a JDK. You will get it on the first link only. Okay. There you will see a different options, JDK, server JRE, and JRE. Okay, we need JDK, not JRE. So as we are the developers, you can either click on this link or you can click on the first link. So I'm going to the first link. The current latest version available is 9.0.1. Okay, and it is also now available to download it for the Windows, Mac OS, Linux operating system. But this is JDK 9 version, which is the latest one. You can go ahead and install JDK 9, which is good, and we always try to use the latest version, right? But let's say if you want to use the JDK 8, you can go back to JDK 8 and use that as well. Oh, give me a second. There are a few questions on the chat window. Are we covering APM as well during this session? No, Farhan, we are not going to cover APM in this session because already the duration is 2 months and APM will again add 1 more month extra. So we can have a separate APM batch for that also. Okay. Harshal, Shweta, are you still facing problem? Okay, who else is still facing problem with audio? Let me know, just ping your name here. All right, so I was saying you can download JDK, for Windows, it is available here. You can download the JDK, but make sure if your system is 32-bit, then you need to download JDK 8 for 32-bit machine. Okay, For 32-bit machine, they have not released JDK 9.0. Okay, great. So I will just post that download link. You can download JDK from here. But this should be easy, All right, perfect. So once the JDK download is done, you just have to install it. It's very easy to install. You just have to click next, 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 and it will get automatically installed at C drive program files /java, and there you should be able to say a JDK folder. Okay, there will be two folders, JDK and JRE. As you can see, I am using JDK 8.0. So just open JDK folder. Now the next step is you need to set path variables. So copy this path, go to your environment variables. Oops. The environment variables can be opened just by right clicking on a computer. So go to computer, right click on a computer, properties, then click on advanced system settings. There you need to click on the environment variables, and I'm going to the system variable. Okay, I already created a system variable Java home. I already have it. But guys, if you already have it, it might be incorrectly configured. So just delete, and you need to create an environment variable as Java_home and paste the path here. Okay. All right. So I just added Java_home path. That is one step. Another step is you have to find out path variable. Okay, from the system variable, or you can actually create a new path variable here. So in user defined variable as well, anything is fine, but I would suggest to go and edit this path. Click on the path, say edit, go to the end, add a semicolon, and just paste the path /bin. I'm repeating my step. This is the part I just added. Semicolon, paste the path /bin. Okay, you may want to take a snapshot of this, and once just added, say OK. All right, say OK. Also OK. Open command prompt. And then execute Java C -version. So it should show the version of the Java C which is installed, or you can also try with Java version. Okay, so anything is fine. So what we have done so far is we are done with setting up JDK. All right. So we are done with setting up JDK. Once JDK setup is done, the next step is Eclipse installation. Okay. So to install the Eclipse, open Eclipse the official website, or you can simply say eclipse.download. Eclipse.org is the official website of Eclipse. And there, go to the download button. Okay, there you will see top right corner download button. Okay, so once you click on a download, there you will see an option to download Eclipse. Latest Eclipse available is Oxygen. Click on the download 64-bit. See, my machine is 64-bit, but if you are using 32-bit Windows, then you will have to download Eclipse for 32-bit also, not a 64-bit. So if the machine is 64-bit, then you should have 64-bit JDK, 64-bit Eclipse. If your computer is 32-bit, then you should have 32-bit JDK as well as 32-bit Eclipse installed. So after clicking on download, it will again show you a site for download. Once the setup is downloaded, you will need to say it is 46 MB setup, but once you start the setup, it will again take some time to actually download and install the Eclipse. So that time you have to select J2EE option. I will just cancel this download because I already have installed Eclipse to save time. Okay. So download this setup, say next, select the Eclipse which you want to download and install. It is an online setup, so it will obviously take some time to install. In my case, I already have Eclipse installed, so I'm going to launch that. Okay. But before starting Eclipse, make sure your your javac command is working, and echo java_home is also showing you the JDK path. Okay, if this configuration is shown right, then you are good to launch Eclipse. So I just opened the Eclipse window. To the first launch, you might see a welcome screen. Okay, I will just show you that quickly. Dhanashri, can you try disconnecting and reconnecting? Okay, how much difference is there in audio and video sync? Is audio is faster or video is faster? Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So that means I need to do the UI operation first and then need to talk about it. All right. Thanks. Okay. So now the Eclipse is launched, and you can see the welcome screen display. Okay. Thanks for that. The very first thing you need to do is you need to close the welcome screen, and then you will see a different UI for Eclipse. So to start with the first project in Eclipse, I'm creating file new project option. Okay, then you have to select Java project. Okay, there will be so many different types of a project. For example, Maven project is something that we will be learning in future, but for now I will be using Java project. I will say next. Give the project name. So I'm giving project name as let's say day 1 first Java session as the project name. I will just leave these other values as the default. Say finish. Okay, it will ask me for a perspective switch. Okay, perfect. Now as you can see to the left hand side under Package Explorer, you will see a project. I will just expand the project, and SRC is the folder where we actually write a source code. So Java is object-oriented programming, and by means of object-oriented programming, there are two basic building blocks of object-oriented programming. Those are class and object. Okay, so you cannot write a Java project without a class. So very first thing is we need to have a class. So I'm going to add file just right click on src, new, and choose the option class from here. Okay. So if you have any questions, please let me know, guys, on the chat window. So I'm creating a new class. Okay, I will leave this package as empty. By default, there is a default package, and the class name I will give is first Java program. All right. Okay. So this is my class, and we need to have the entry point of execution, right? That means, in short, we need a main method for a program, to run. So I'm going to write main method. Just type main, open bracket, main control space. Oops. Okay. When you say main control space, it shows a suggestion saying that you want a main method. Just double click on this option, and you will get the complete definition for that main method. You don't have to type each and every character. This is a feature coming from Eclipse. So Eclipse has a smart intelligence feature which allows you to automatically generate a code based on some shortcuts. So control space is like a master key in Eclipse. It is very useful if you are writing a code. All right. Okay, can you see my screen now? I maximized it. So in main method, let's say I wanted to print hello world. This is the first program that I want to do. So like in C language, C++ language, we had a printf method. In Java language, we have system.out.println. But again, there is a shortcut for that line to generate. So just type syso control space. Okay, you will see the smart intelligence feature again, and just hit enter. All right. So the full code is automatically generated, system.out.println, and inside the bracket you can just write any message. Okay. So I'm writing hello world program. Just now I wrote a single line in a main method, and now it is time to execute this program and see the outcome. Okay. So I will just click on the play button. The play button is actually a run button, or you simply right click on the class, run as. You should be able to see this option, run as Java application. It will ask you to save this file. So I'm going to say always save resource before launching. All right, so it is saved, and the program is also executed. To the console tab, you will see the outcome of the program. Okay. Now the next part is, let's say I wanted to print this hello world 5 times. So I will require a for loop, like looping mechanism. Like there are so many different loops: while loop, do while loop, for loop, for each loop, and there are different loops. So I will be using a simple for loop. Just type for. Again, there is a shortcut to generate a code, for control space, and just hit enter. I think Aparna, you are having some internet connection issue. Maybe your bandwidth is slow or something. So I don't think anybody else is facing issue with audio. So can you please check that? All right. So this is the method, for int I is equal to 0. Sorry, this is the code which is automatically generated. Let me repeat how I generated that code. Just type control space for, control space, enter. So that for loop will be automatically generated here. Okay. I will move on this method inside a for loop because I want to print it multiple times. And how many times I want? I want I is equal to 0 till I is less than 5. So I will go from 0 to 4 is less than 5. That means 0 to 4. And I will get incremented for every iteration. There I will print hello world, and then I want to print the value of I. So I will just concatenate it plus I. Oops, value of I. So this is one string, and there I am combining another string, that is the value is I. So for the first time it will be 0, then 1, then 2, 3, until the 4 it will execute this code. So let me run it. Alright, so you can see that hello world 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 is printed, and this is how we use a for loop in a Java. Okay. Is anybody else is facing issue with the screen? No. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Rushali, Prajakta, Nayan, Vishwajit, Madhuri. Thank you, Srihari. Okay. Fine. So, yes, Madhuri, sure. I will increase the font size a little bit. Give me a second. Not exactly sure that which option I need to choose from here. There is some setting in Java editor. Content assistant, advanced, colors and font. Okay, I don't see under here. Ah, this one. Okay, thanks. Let me edit. I will just increase it to maybe 16. That should apply, and I will say okay. Now is it okay? Thanks for that, Sagar. Perfect. So this is a simple code, just now I wrote. Now what I will do is, I will create a next program that will calculate addition from 1 to 50. So I'm writing another class, addition of first 10 numbers. Okay. So a class is created, public class addition of 10 numbers. There I need again a main method. So main control space enter. Now I will write. I need to I need to have a variable which is going to hold the addition. So I will say int sum. This is the syntax to declare a variable. I want to declare a variable as well as initialize that variable with value 0. So int sum is equal to 0. Int sum is equal to 0, and then I will write for int I is equal to 0. Okay, I wanted to start it from 1 to 10, and even for 10 also I have to perform addition. So I will say I is less than equal to 10. Okay, so int I is equal to 1 to 10. So this will go from 1 till 10, all the 10 numbers. So for every number, for each number, I wanted to perform, the addition into sum. So sum plus I is what I want to perform. And again, this sum, I will be storing it into sum is equal to sum plus I. Okay, and after the for loop, this loop is actually going to do the addition from 0 to 10. So once this for loop is ended, the final thing I'm going to do is print the sum, which I calculated. So I will say total sum is sum. Okay, perfect. So I will just run it as a Java application. Total sum is 55, and which is the correct answer. Okay, I don't think I can increase the size of this console as well. It may take some time, so better I would stick with that, or maybe I can do it quickly. Let's go to console. Okay, I don't have a setting, font color settings, text width console. Okay, I don't have this setting. We just remove that limit. I don't want it. Okay. Perfect. So the addition is also printed. Now we will go with the next program. Guys, do you have any questions? I will just unmute you, and we'll have a Q&A session now. I will create a new class. Let's say prime number, or let's say EvenOdd Check program. I created a class, and in this class I want to add a main method. Okay, so I will just say control space main control space enter. So I will just add a shortcut here, type main, then control plus space plus enter. So this is the shortcut key to main. Okay, echo %Java underscore home is not working. You can try fixing the Java underscore home variable, Farhan. It might not have set into the environment variable. I already explained that in the earlier part of this video. You have one checkbox as well as to add main method while creating the class. Yes, Madhuri, that's a very nice observation. We can add main method with a checkbox while creating a class itself. But again, it's not that very difficult. Just create a simple class and type main control space enter. I feel that is more better and programmatic approach instead of using some UI. Chandrasekhar, which is the best practice to add path in user variable or system variable section? Okay, good question. I would prefer to add into user variable only, because system variable path is a little bit critical. Some people try to delete the system in path variable and they create new one, which is wrong. Do not delete the system path variable. You just have to go at the end and append it. Okay. So some people just mess up with the operating system variable path, which is not recommended. That is the reason you should be adding or creating variables into the user variable. But sometimes we face some issues with user variable in accessing it. So yeah, anything is fine. Both work. I would personally suggest to change it into the user variable, not into system variable, unless you find any issues with user variable. Any other question, guys? Or shall we continue? I'm not sure if you guys are not able to mute or something. I thought that I will be able to hear some voice. Or are you guys facing any problem with the unmuting? Okay, unable to unmute. I'm not sure, because I can unmute everybody, but it becomes again a chaos. Lots of noises I can hear. So let me try it once again. Muted. Okay, now you can unmute yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
Muted.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi Vikas, can you open the edit program?
Guys, you are using loudspeaker, which is, that is the...
Vikas, can you open the addition program, please?
Better, yeah, Shriyar is right. Better mute everyone. And you can ask me questions in this Skype chat window. Okay. Is that okay, guys? Because I can see there is lots of noise and, people are unnecessarily unmuting this. Unmuting. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions. Can you please show the echo command? Madhuri, you can always go back into this video and see the echo command. Yes, too much disturbance. Yes, I'm not sure who's this guest. Can you please use your real name instead of using guest? It will be better to address you. Okay, let's move on, guys. I hope there is no any other question. All right, so this is the echo command. As Madhuri asked, I will just show that command. This is the echo command. Perfect. So let's move on to the next code. That is the even and odd check. Let's take example. I have a variable, integer variable. Okay, int no is equal to having some value. Let's take example. The value is 20. Okay, or maybe 21. And I want to check whether this value is it even number or it is an odd number. So the logic to check the even number or odd number is we divide that number with 2. If remainder equals 0, then we say that this number is what? Is even, else odd. Okay, so I'm just going to code the same logic. I will add if. So, okay, very first thing is get a remainder. So int remainder is equal to int remainder is equal to, I will take the remainder no divided by 21. Oh, my bad, is divided by 1, sorry, 2. And then on that remainder I will just check. Oh, this is going to return me division, not the remainder. So we get remainder using the mod operator, that is percentage. So if you say number /2, that means this is division. But if I change that slash to %, then it is actually getting the remainder of that number. I will just check, is that remainder equal 0? If the remainder is equal to 0, I will simply say that number is even. Okay, so SYSO control space enter number. I want to print the value of that number also. Okay, so the syntax is just concatenate that number, outside a string. Complete that string, concatenate the number, and again start another string. So concatenation is actually, combining two strings and then printing is prime. Okay. So there is a if else condition to this. If that is, just simply print that number is number plus no. This is a concatenation is Oh, I wrote a prime, my bad. Thanks, Madhuri. Is even. Sorry, is odd. Okay, if the remainder is not 0, then let's run this code. Okay, the 21 is odd, which is obvious, right? So I will just change the 21 to 20 and printing the number is even or not. And this time I can see that number is even printed. Sagar, you still want me to explain the program? I feel this is the very easiest logic, okay? So I have a number, 20 value. I'm taking the remainder. How do we take a remainder? Just say number %2. We will get the remainder. I'm checking if the remainder is equal 0. Then just print this line. Okay. The line is number no is even. If the remainder is not 0, then it will go to the else part, and the else part is saying number no is odd number. Sorry, even and odd number. Okay. I hope it is clear now. Alright, so let's move on to the next example. I will create a next example. So even odd using method, So far we only created a main method, like, we had a main method like this. But instead of writing all the code into main method, the better approach is create a separate method which will actually, take the number as an input, perform, the check whether it is even or it is odd, and then print the value. The recording is already started, Madhuri. Alright, so I will just add a method public static void. The method name is check even odd and that I will this is the method, and this method is going to take input parameter as, hey Raj, the screen is already shared, everybody is able to see the screen. You may want to try disconnect and connect again. That should fix your issue. Right now in the middle of session, it is very difficult to address each and individual issue. So, we will discuss after this session, Raj, or you can come early tomorrow, then we can discuss about this screen issue. Okay, so I'm taking integer parameter as that number. Okay, so this is like input. I just wrote a simple method. We are talking about how to create a simple method. So main method is like, this is a default method, entry point of execution, and all the code which is written in the main will be executed. Whereas public static void check even odd, this is another custom user defined method which will take no as an input. And in this code, I will just write the same similar code, or I can simply copy paste the same code which was here. Perfect. Okay, so I wrote a code taking a remainder. The number is already taken as a parameter, and calculate the remainder. Check the remainder equal 0. If it is 0, then print the number is even, else print the number is odd. Okay, but this is using a method. This method will not be executed unless we call it. So it is time to call this method. So to call this method, simply write the method name. Okay, sorry, there is a typo, CHE check EvenOdd. Alright. So as soon as you say check and control space, you will see this method available here. I will just double click, and instead of the number, I'm going to pass, let's say 27. Okay. I'm passing that input as 27 value. This 27 value will be stored into NO runtime, and a remainder will be calculated, and based on that it will print whether that number 27 is even or it is odd. Now this is an example. You can see the outcome here. This is the example how we create a method and how we call a method. So this is a example of a method which takes input. You may have another method which may not take input. For example, public static void say hi. Okay, and in this method I am writing system.out.println, that is shortcut is SYSO control space enter, and there I will write a code. Hi there. Okay, so this is a method which is not taking any parameter, and to call this method, just simply okay, I'm going to comment this code and I will call that say hi method. Okay, so I'm calling that method without passing any parameter. So this is the syntax to call a method where I'm not passing any parameter. And this is another method which is taking input parameter as NO, and this value is passed like this. So Shivendra has a question. There is nothing as such keyword to call a method in Java. No, there is no call keyword in Java. We simply write the method name and the brackets. So brackets denote that this is a method, and semicolon denotes I am calling a method. So if you have curly brace after the bracket, that means you are defining a method, not a calling a method. There is a question from Madhuri. Can you please explain string args array? Yes, I can explain this, why we use string args array, string array args. This is a command line input, but right now consider this as a syntax of a main method. We still require it, even though we are not using it. We still require to write that into main method. You can't just simply keep main method empty. Okay, this is the at this moment I consider this as like a syntax. Some other session I will explain what is arg and how to use the variable values which is coming into arg. Thanks. I hope I answered your question. Let me know if anyone else is having any questions. I would be happy to answer. Okay, so just now we are done with checking the even and odd program. Similarly, this is using a method. Similarly, I will create another class for checking the number is prime or not. So class name is prime check. We haven't discussed about static, non-static yet. So far I will be using all static methods. Okay. Maybe some other session we will discuss what is static, non-static, and what's the difference between them. But for now we will be using all the static methods. Yes, Sunil, I will create a method that will return some value, and we will print that value into main method. I will do that soon. So let's focus on the writing a program for checking a prime number. So in this program, I have integer number, let's say 21, and I want to check this number is prime or not. So I'm going to call a method check number is prime. Okay, and to this method I have to pass parameter as NO. Okay, but this will give me error because this method is not defined yet. I'm directly calling this method without defining. So Eclipse has a feature, if you mouse over here, Eclipse, it will show a pop-up. Eclipse has a feature, which there is a quick fix available. So I'm doing this quick fix, create method. So just click on the create method. It will automatically create a method with the required, syntax. I will just delete that comment because this is simply comment. So Eclipse has very nice features, and you should get used to with this feature. The more you use the feature, you will get comfortable with Eclipse, and you can have more productivity. You can write more lines of code in a short duration. So the general approach I follow is I write a method call first, and then I go here and then I click on create method. So which just simply gives me a ready-made code for that method. Okay. Now there is one bracket missing. Let me complete that. So now I have NO number. Raj, I already shared how to download the Eclipse. So just follow that step because it is online setup. We don't have an offline setup for that. So private static void is the method, and which is taking NO as a parameter. So how do we check that this number is prime or not? Now let's take example. I want to check the 7 number is prime or not. So what we do is we divide that number starting from 2, and we check is remainder equal 0. Okay. If yes, then number is not prime. Okay. We keep this doing for multiple times. I will just write a comment. We keep this doing for multiple times. Now 7 divided by 3, 7 divided by 4, 7 divided by 5, 7 divided by 6, and at the end we will reach 7 is equal 7. So we will be reaching till the 7. Yes, Raj, I will be sharing this course after this session. Human programs, yeah. Yes, Shivendra, I will try to share the recording video as soon as I'm done with this session. It just takes some time to process. Maybe video will be available by tomorrow morning. Okay. So till the time that number is equal to that number itself, we will keep on dividing. Let's say if this is returning, this number division is returning remainder as a 0, then that number is actually not prime, and we have to stop there only. Okay. So let me code this logic. Fine. So it's time to start a for loop. Okay. Again, I already told you the shortcut for. Just type for, control space, and enter. So you can see that code is generated. Int I is equal to 0. I is less than arrays dot length. Okay. I will just change that to NO because I wanted to go that loop till NO. Okay. I am also doing one more thing. I will mark a flag. Let's assume boolean is prime equal to. Assume that that number is prime. This is like assumption. So I am assuming that number is prime. Now inside that I will check if that number remainder, using percentage. If that number percentage I, I should be starting with 2. If that number percentage 2, this will return me the remainder. Number percent I will return me remainder. I will just check that remainder equal 0. If that remainder equal 0, that means I will say that is prime equal to false. That number is not prime. I will just say that is prime equal to false, and I have to stop the loop also, right? or I will say break. A break statement will break the loop. Okay, the break statement will break the loop and the execution will come out of here. So I'm just printing is prime, or this has to be string. Okay, is that number. Okay, this is first string concatenating with the no, and then again next string is prime, and then again I am concatenating with a variable is prime. So assumption is that number is prime, but if the remainder is coming as a 0 from 2 to that number and number minus 1, so it's going to set is prime equal to false, and it will break the loop. If remainder is not equal to 0, then it will increment the I, check the condition, do it again. Increment I, check the condition, and do it again. These 3 steps will be executed again and again if that remainder is not 0, unless that remainder is not 0. As soon as you get remainder equal to 0, we set is prime is equal to false, and then we break the loop. Fine. So if now it is time to run the code. So there is an integer number 21. That number I am passing it here. That 21 number will go into the no variable. That is not necessarily that you should have the same variable name. You can keep variable name as n, but here you can keep a different variable name as no. It doesn't really matter. The next part is boolean is prime equal to true, and for I is equal to 1, I is less than no, I plus plus. So this is a loop where I am actually dividing that number from 2 to that number minus 1. Okay, and if the remainder is equal to 0, then I am just simply setting is prime equal to true false, and I will break out of this loop. And out of this loop I am just printing that number is prime or not. So it is very easy program. Let me run it as a Java application. Okay, so is 21 prime? So it is returning me result as false. Let me try with some different input. I will change that 21 to something else. So I will change that 21 to, let's say, give me some prime number, guys. I'm not sure about 93. Is it prime or not? Or maybe 91 I should choose. Let's see. 93 is not prime. Let me try with 91. Oops, my bad. Okay, let's try with 23. Thanks, Abhishek. Okay, as I can see that is 23 prime. It is saying it is prime number. Okay, we'll try with 19 as well. Okay, see 19 is shown as a prime number, and this is using a method. Okay. Alright, so program works perfectly for the different inputs. Now the next part is, this method was taking input as a number, as a parameter, and that method itself was printing whether that number is prime or not. But now I do not want this method to print, so I'm commenting the code. / is for commenting a code. So I just commented that code which prints the line. Instead of that, I will say return. Okay, return this variable value. Whatever value is there in this variable is prime. Okay, so I will say return, but the problem is my return type of the method is void. Okay, this void you see, it means that method is not going to return anything. But actually I want a boolean value. I want a boolean value to be returned. So I want to return this is prime, and the data type of is prime is boolean. So there is a quick fix. The quick fix is change method return type to boolean instead of void. So I'm going to use this quick fix. So as you can see that void is removed and boolean is added. Okay, but Now this method is actually returning the value. So you should be taking that return data, return value. So for capturing that return value, I will write a code, boolean return value is equal to this, okay, equal to the method and the input to the method. Now this method is taking input as n and returning the value this much. So, and let's print the value, SYSO, control space, enter, and there I will write number. The number is actually n. Okay, now here the n is the variable, right? Again string concatenate is prime, and then I will print that return value, whatever the value which is returned from the method. So now this method is not printing itself, it is actually returning the return value, whether it is prime or not. It will return true if the number is prime, it will return false if the number is not prime. So let me run this code again for 71, and there you can see number 71 is prime, and it says yes, it is prime. So what we learned so far is we learned how to write a hello world program, how to write a loop, how to perform addition in a loop, then how to use some operator, for example like modulus operator, module operator taking the remainder. Then we learn to create a method which takes a parameter. We also learn writing a method which is not taking a parameter and how to call that method. And the last part that we learn is a method which takes input and returns output. So we learn how to capture the returned value and print the value. So this is all we covered so far. Apart from this program, we also covered how to set up Java, JDK, and the Eclipse. I think this is the first session. So for today, this is all for today. We will continue with tomorrow's session with more programs, more practice, and more topics from Java. But now I would like to have a Q&A session. So let me know if you guys have any questions. I would be happy to answer those questions.